big upcoming 2021 game releases. I'm sure a few certain titles pop right to the forefront of your mind when I say that, which you might be seeing here in this intro, but instead of focusing on those, I'm going to be highlighting the ones that maybe you forgot were coming, or you'll just be hearing about for the first time right now. I am Alex, and I'm going to uncover some of 2021's hidden gems, although it is kinda hard to call it a hidden gem before actually getting to play it, so let's call all of these hypothetical hidden gems that I'm pretty excited to get my hands on, and I'll likely be covering these officially on the channel when they're coming out. Finally, this butt year is just about over, and it's time to start planning for our gaming future, so let's get right on into it. First off, Solar Ash, the second title from Heart Machine, who made the phenomenal indie action adventure Hyperlight Drifter. Unlike Hyperlight, however, Solar Ash is fully 3D and looking to be quite the ambitious leap over their past works. At this point, we don't know much about the core gameplay other than there being some form of platforming and that your character kinda skates around the environments. However, the overall aesthetic and just general trust I have in Heart Machine delivering after quite enjoying Hyperlight easily has me the most excited to jump into this new visually fantastical world they're creating. Next up is Axiom Verge 2. Many consider the first Axiom Verge to be one of the best Metroidvanias of the decade, which leaned more onto the Metroid side more so than the Castlevania side. However, a good thing for me, since I prefer melee-focused combat in my Metroidvanias, in the sequel, it seems like it might be slightly more inspired by the Game Boy Advance RPG-infused Castlevania titles this time around. Also, the environments are looking much more open and vibrant this time as well, which is a good change of pace from the original's darker palette. I'm really in the mood for a good Metroidvania right now, and certainly want Axiom Verge 2 sooner rather than later. Now real quick, I did manage to get a sponsor for today's video, which just so happens to be something that you don't have to wait around for in 2021. Ratropolis has just launched on Steam, which is a unique combo of deck builder, tower defense, and city builder with some roguelite elements. In the new full launch version, there are 500 plus cards to master, 100 plus dynamic events to consider, 6 leader character classes, and 6 possible endings to achieve. Ratropolis is pretty addicting trying to survive and build out your colony, and if it looks like your type of game, use that link I have at the top of the video description to head right on over to the Ratropolis Steam page. There is also currently a launch discount going on right now as well until January 5th. A big thanks to Cassell Games for sponsoring this section and my channel, and now let's get back into the future. Next up is the horror stealth adventure Little Nightmares 2. The first game was certainly a surprise hit, thanks to its creepy atmosphere that didn't completely just rely on cheap jump scares to set the mood. The sequel seems to be adding in more puzzle mechanics and just general more depth to the moment-to-moment gameplay, of course still with the occasional sneaking around. Although it's looking like you'll have a companion for most of this journey, it's still slated as a purely single-player game, so hopefully that added AI component really helps to expand the overall core experience. Next up, the Gunk. Odd name, but still, since it's from the creators of the SteamWorld games like SteamWorld Dig and SteamWorld Heist, I'm pretty sure it's going to be awesome. For real, go back and play SteamWorld Dig 2 right now and realize it's one of the most polished 2D platformers ever. The Gunk is looking to be a very ambitious leap over their 2D origins, but it seems to be shaping up nicely, giving me a Ratchet & Clank meets Luigi's Mansion style of vibes. I'm a big proponent of it being okay for games to just be raw fun from time to time, and the Gunk is looking to be exactly that. Next up is the action RPG IX Monstrum Nox. Although I dabbled in some of the previous entries, the 8th title, Lacrimosa of Dana, really won me over specifically because of the super snappy and enjoyable combat, which seems to be carrying over here in 9. If you really enjoy arcadey combo and dodging focused JRPG combat, this is definitely one to keep an eye out for when it finally makes its way to the US here pretty soon. Next up is the Zelda-inspired action-adventure Tunic. Tunic got announced quite a while ago, but I was pretty much sold right after that initial reveal trailer, being a big fan of action-adventure puzzle-style gameplay, and also just generally really liking that visual aesthetic. Also, the devs seem to fully understand what makes Zelda games so great, which of course is nailing satisfying grass that absolutely begs to be cut. But really, Tunic is looking to be a really solid classic indie adventure coming in 2021. Next, after crushing it big with Nier Automata, it's time to head into the past for this modernized remake of the first game. Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139 rolls right off the tongue. Please change that title. There are not too many action games that play quite like Nier, with its hybrid of third-person combat and bullet hell mayhem. There is also a pretty over-the-top and crazy story in this, no surprise, which is told a little more linear than Automata's, but just as worthwhile to experience. I'm really making sure to support this one, so we guarantee a third game in the future. Lastly, the gargantuan tactics RPG, Disgaea 6 Defiance of Destiny. If you have ever played a Disgaea title before, you likely somewhat know what to expect, but if you have never played one, I have a really simple equation that will make it all make sense. Okay, imagine Final Fantasy Tactics, but turned up to 11. Okay, now take that version of the game you just imagined, and now turn that game up to 11. Now you have a general idea of the madness of a Disgaea game. These titles are always begging you to dump hundreds of hours into them, so if you're bored at any point in 2021, Disgaea 6 will likely fill in any time you desire. And that's it for now, a brief taste of some of the slightly lesser known upcoming titles I'm pretty excited for in 2021. If you have any of your own that I didn't cover in this, make sure to let me know them down in the comments, because chances are I'll end up playing those as well. As always, this has been Alex from Boomstick Gaming. A big thanks again to Cassell Games for sponsoring a section of this video, and an extra special thanks to you for watching this all the way up to the very end.